Look at the front of this 1967 quarter. The familiar profile of George Washington faces left, calm and steady, almost timeless in its expression. The word liberty arches above, strong and bold, while in God we trust sits quietly near the neck, grounded and confident. At the bottom, 1967 is stamped into the metal, marking a specific moment in time that can never be repeated. But this is not just a date. It is a doorway, a connection to an era filled with change, movement, and transformation. Every tiny scratch you see is not damage, it is evidence of life. Evidence that this coin lived a journey far beyond what we can imagine. It was carried, exchanged, forgotten, and rediscovered, and now it has reached you. Turn the coin over in your mind. The reverse reveals an eagle, wings spread wide, powerful yet still, balanced between motion and calm. Above it, United States of America forms a bold circle, declaring identity and origin. Below, quarter dollar confirms its purpose in a clear and grounded way, and in between, E pluribus unum reminds us of unity, a message that has carried through generations. But beyond the design, there is something deeper waiting to be noticed. The eagle is not just a symbol placed on metal. It represents strength, resilience, and continuity across time. This coin was made during a period when the world itself was shifting rapidly, and yet this symbol remained unchanged, standing firm in its meaning. Now, let's step back into 1967, a year filled with energy, tension, and transformation across many parts of the world. Technology was evolving, cultures were shifting, and societies were redefining themselves in powerful ways. This coin was minted right in the middle of that motion. It may have been used to buy a simple cup of coffee, a newspaper, or a short bus ride across a busy street. Small transactions, simple moments, everyday life unfolding quietly. But those moments mattered deeply because they were real and human. This coin was there, present in those exchanges. It witnessed daily life in its purest form, and now, decades later, it carries those invisible memories within it, like echoes frozen in metal. Here's something many people do not realize at first glance. The 1967 quarter does not carry a mint mark anywhere on its surface. This was not a mistake or an accident. It was a deliberate decision made during a unique time. The United States Mint removed mint marks temporarily to discourage excessive coin collecting from normal circulation. That means millions of these coins were made without identifying marks. But interestingly, this decision created a sense of mystery. Without a mint mark, each coin feels slightly more anonymous, slightly more open to interpretation, and sometimes what is removed creates even more curiosity than what is clearly visible. Now imagine holding this exact coin in your hand. Feel its edges, slightly worn from years of movement and use. Notice how the original shine has softened into a calm, aged texture that reflects light differently. This is not damage. This is character built over time. This is proof that the coin has been part of real human experiences. It has been exchanged in busy markets, dropped into pockets, carried in wallets, and forgotten in drawers for years. Every mark tells a story, even if we can't fully read it. And while we may never know the full journey, we can still feel its presence. That connection between past and present is real and meaningful. Collectors often look beyond what is immediately visible. They search for details that others overlook completely. Small variations, unique conditions, and subtle differences that make one coin stand out from another. The 1967 quarter, while common at first glance, can sometimes hold surprising uniqueness depending on how it has been preserved over time. A coin that has remained protected from heavy use can appear almost untouched by decades. And that contrast between worn coins and well-preserved examples creates curiosity. It invites deeper attention. It keeps collectors searching, comparing, and discovering new layers within something that seems simple. There is also something deeply fascinating about how value is perceived and understood. Most people see a quarter as just 25 cents, something small and easily overlooked, but collectors see layers beyond the obvious. They see history, rarity, condition, and story combined into one object. And sometimes, under very specific and rare circumstances, certain coins in the wider collecting world have attracted extraordinary attention. There have been moments where coins, not necessarily this exact type, but coins in general, have reached astonishing figures at auctions, numbers that feel almost unreal, even entering conversations around amounts like $117 million in extremely rare and exceptional cases. These are uncommon situations, but they change how we think. This doesn't mean every 1967 quarter carries that level of attention or value. It's important to understand the difference between common examples and rare situations. However, it does mean that coins are more than just currency used for transactions. They're artifacts of time. They are pieces of history that have survived and traveled through generations. And under the right conditions, with the right characteristics, they can become highly desirable to collectors. That idea alone changes everything, because suddenly the coin in your pocket is no longer just change. It becomes a possibility, a question waiting to be explored with curiosity and patience. Think about the journey once more, but this time in greater detail. From the moment this coin was struck in 1967, it began moving through the world, passing from one person to another, across neighborhoods, cities, and maybe even states. It may have been used as part of someone's daily routine, used again and again without much thought. Or perhaps it was saved briefly, then released back into circulation. Each step added something invisible to its story. Each exchange created a connection between people who never met. And now, it has reached a point where it is no longer just used. It is observed, studied, and appreciated in a completely different way. There is a quiet beauty in objects that survive the passage of time. This coin has outlived trends, technologies, and even entire generations of change. It has remained physically the same, while the world around it transformed again and again. That contrast creates something powerful and meaningful. It reminds us that not everything needs to constantly change to remain valuable or interesting. Sometimes consistency itself becomes something rare, and this coin represents that idea perfectly. It stands as a small but real example of endurance, something that continues to exist long after its original moment is past. Now imagine how many people have seen this coin before you. How many hands have held it, even briefly? How many lives it has passed through without leaving a visible trace? Each person added something to its journey, even unknowingly. And now you're part of that long chain. You are connected to a timeline that stretches back decades into the past. That connection is real in a subtle but powerful way, and it transforms this coin from a simple object into an experience that links moments together across time. The more you look, the more you begin to notice small details that were invisible at first glance. The way light reflects differently across its surface, the tiny imperfections that make it completely unique from any other coin. No two coins age in exactly the same way, even if they were created at the same time. That individuality is what keeps collectors interested and engaged. It turns something common into something personal, something worth paying attention to again and again. And that repeated observation often reveals new details each time. So, the next time you come across a coin like this, take a moment to pause. Don't rush past it. Don't dismiss it as something ordinary or unimportant, because there is always more beneath the surface than what you see at first glance. There is always a deeper story waiting quietly to be discovered. And sometimes, all it takes is a closer look, a few extra seconds of attention to unlock that hidden layer. That simple act of observation can completely change how you see not just coins, but everyday objects around you. This 1967 quarter may seem small in size, but its story is anything but small. It carries history, movement, and meaning within its worn edges and quiet surface. It reminds us that even the simplest objects can hold extraordinary depth when we choose to look closely. And now you see it differently, not just as a coin, but as a piece of time that has survived, traveled, and reached you across decades. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you find a coin in your pocket, you'll stop, look closer, and wonder what story it carries within its silent, enduring form.